riding for me. AM 560 KBLU, Russ Clark with you. It's Friday. You made it to Friday already. And Greg Wilkins is with me.
Yeah. Hey, morning, Russ.
Good morning, sir. Good to have you. Of course, we spend too much time talking before the show because, we should put it all on air. I won't remember it now. You know who Stephen A. Smith is?
No.
He's an ESPN commentator, black guy.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yes, I really like him. He's very aggressive, very direct, and he's going to tell the truth about what he feels or sees, no matter what the political correctness is.
No nonsense guy.
Really good.
Yeah.
I'll tell you about him after the phone call. You're on the air.
Hey, good morning, Russ.
Morning.
The other guy.
Good morning, OG.
Yeah, listen, for the weekend, for everybody to go into with a big smile on their face.
Okay.
You remember me talking to you about there was a time about 60 years ago where we had no car insurance anywhere. We had an SR-22 blue form that was in place. If somebody brought the cop, wrote a ticket, and it meant something, it placed laws.
Sure.
Remember? Yeah, okay. And we had county health departments all over the place. And they had real doctors. And it was free to anybody, rich, poor, whoever wanted to come. We had county hospitals. If you didn't have the money to give birth, the county, they paid for that. And it was already there. Well, that's coming back. What Trump is doing right now, he is Remember, I talked about being against insurance, period. It's a big industry. It's a pyramid scheming. Well, Trump is on my team now.
Oh.
Doggone it. Yes, he is. He is going after he calls the insurance company the biggest donor of the Democratic Party and to the Royals and to the, it's just a pyramid scheme. And he's going to outlaw it. He's going to put some money instead of getting to the insurance. See, they've been giving multitude of grants and money to the insurance company and to the medical profession. If you remember during COVID, they gave $39 per ventilator and $13 per COVID patient. Remember that crap? They gave it to the hospital.
Yeah, I knew they were giving a lot of money.
Okay, well, that will all be stopping from what Trump wants to do. His medical plan that he's going to put in place, going to replace Obamacare, all that stuff. He's going to give that money straight to the people.
Oh, yeah.
How about that?
He has been talking about that, and I
don't
know I don't know what his complete plan is. I know he's going after drug companies too.
I tell you, I am smiling.
Well, that's great, buddy. I agree with you. The insurance has gotten out of control. I'm not as old as you are, but I've been around long enough to see it just go stupid.
Oh, it is. They've gotten out of control, and they have totally destroyed our medical profession. Now, you can't blame the doctors for taking $39 per ventilator at our hospital.
Nope.
Because it's not the doctors doing this; it's the administrators of the hospital, as you know.
Well, yes, it is, and they're doing it because of guidelines, because of legal fees and everything else. That they have to run a bunch of tests on you, because if they don't, they could get sued if something went wrong.
Yes, sir.
Even if they don't want
it. I know you have been associated with a hospital.
Sure.
Yourself. And you know they're run by an administrator, and if he doesn't do right, they fire him and get him another one, right?
Yeah, it's not easy, but yeah.
So, but the administrator is the one that looks for funding, grants, money to keep the ball rolling. Am I right?
They do. That's their job.
Okay. Yes. Okay. So Trump is going. If we stop the grants and the ball to the insurance companies, they're not going to be able to mess up and bribe and pay the hospital and we have some good for nothing doctors now. No, we're not barring those out. But you can see how the merits are going to be. This is going to be gigantic. I think he could win hands down because the Democratic Party is like really in the tank right now. They really are.
Yeah.
But then you got some communists. You got communist people in this country. Remember, you got 53.5 million foreign-born residents in this country that's got kids and they're on welfare. And the kids are going to our schools, destroying our schools and our educational system. This is not covered by the media. And so when Trump goes takes the insurance company and takes them to task, I think we're in good shape. I think the world will come back together. Don't you?
I do, and I appreciate that. I'm gonna stop on that end and end on a high note that we're gonna have a great weekend.
Okay, man. You
Thank you,
take
man.
care.
Bye, bye. Man, insurance. I know
Yeah.
you're as old as I am, so you've seen it when it was not
Yeah.
as costing. I'm everything from car insurance and house insurance and everything else,
Right.
but they keep changing it. I mean they keep piling more on the insurance. Like even health insurance. Health insurance is about going free doctor visits, free everything. It's not just insurance in case something bad happens.
Right.
It's insurance to maintain and all that stuff. And
Yep.
and it just keeps getting bigger, bigger, bigger. And the lawyers help because every time they sue for something, the insurance company's got to add that to the policy. Well, we need to protect you against this too.
Right.
And it's got nuts. I don't know what the answers are, but when I was on the hospital board, we go to retreats every year, twice a year. I could go, and what those were for was educational retreats. And they would cover different aspects of
Right.
hospital stuff. And I talked some of it, and we went to some nice places in Hawaii and New York and stuff. And they have to do that to get people to want to go to the education. You got to go to nice places because if you're going to do it out in the middle of Omaha, no one's going to say, well, I ain't going to that.
Yeah.
We'll go to the one over here. So they try to attract people to engage. But talking to people, they said, I said, man, these guys really do a nice job putting so out. I said, oh, this is nothing. When the insurance companies come,
Yeah.
those are the guys with the money,
Yes.
not the hospitals.
Right.
I was
Yeah.
like, oh,
That's where we talked about stuff we talked off air. Insurance companies are one of the biggest donors to the Democrat Party.
Yeah.
And that's why you see out of control spending. That's why you saw Obamacare, with where I believe they throw like $10,000 to each insurance company for every person that's signed up for Obamacare. And now we see that people are signed up for Obamacare that don't even know they have insurance. Their name was just put down on the list, and
yeah,
so
the whole thing's out of control. I don't know what to
Yeah.
fix, but maybe Trump will figure it out.
well, I think sending the money to the person, in a health savings account, I think
No.
that's probably a good start and then you have to open up insurance companies so they can insure across state lines, state borders. So there's
Trump has talked
competition.
about both of those.
Those are two big things because then you have insurance companies instead of just giving a gift of money, they actually have to compete.
But to make that work, there's one more step, and Trump has suggested that too. That every hospital and doctor and everything has a menu with list price,
Right.
A price for everything.
Yes.
And they never do that. You could
No.
never find out what it costs
No.
until after you have the procedure.
No. Well, the hospital here would be embarrassed if they put their menu up against like a hospital up in Phoenix or any of the other.
Actually, the prices are going to be somewhat similar, but that's not what you see. You see the negotiated price. You
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
What they put up front is not what they really expect to get.
Yeah. Well, and that's right. And then afterwards, if you don't have insurance or you don't have it, whatever,
You get stuck with.
you can call the hospital and negotiate with them
Oh,
and
yeah.
give them, say, I'll give you $100 now because I don't have $500, and you can put me on a $25 a month payment plan, or I'll give you $100 right now.
Well, and then they'll negotiate the price real quick.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, they do that automatically as soon as you
Yes.
call,
yes.
because they know they're getting like 10 times what they're going to get from an insurance company.
Yeah.
So they'll knock 30% off for the phone call. If you're
Yeah.
paying direct. I started talking about Stephen A. Smith, and I like him, but he's been stepping out into the political realm more than just the the different sports stuff. And I like him on sports is that if he says he really believes it, he's not placating anybody. He's not
Right.
he's not joining a team of well, I've got to do this because of racism, or I've got to do this because of DEI, or I got to do this because he just says what
Yeah.
what
Well,
he thinks.
and sometimes he's on the left side and sometimes he's on the right
Yeah.
side, depending upon what it is.
You don't know where he's going.
Yeah, I think he tries to use his common sense, whatever his
Yeah.
version of common sense is and how that applies.
Yeah, kind of like Fetterman in his verbalization. I mean, he still
Right.
votes Democrat, but he's verbalizing common sense.
Yeah. Well, he's voted
A few things.
a few things, yeah.
Oh gosh,
Yeah.
But now he got involved in the Minnesota ice shooting.
Yeah.
That's pretty good for a sports commentator.
Mhm.
And usually when you saw this in the past, God, I forget the names now, but that get involved in the politics, they're all ideologues.
Yeah.
This guy's looking at facts. And he says he's watched the tapes. He's looked at the tapes many times. And that ICE agent was completely justified. I saw the videos on numerous occasions and seen what transpired from a lawful perspective. As it pertains to a law enforcement official, don't expect him to be prosecuted. He was completely justified.
Right.
And when Stephen Smith says that, he'll do it with great, conviction.
Yes. Is that the word you use?
I don't know.
Emphasis on,
he says, from a humanitarian perspective, however, why did you have to do that? If you could move out of the way, that means you could have shot the tires. That means you could have had I don't think police do that.
No,
I mean, they do on TV.
Tires are really hard to shoot.
Yeah.
They are really hard.
And they're resilient.
Right.
And they don't go flat necessarily.
Right. Yeah.
Especially if they have some of that fixed flat inside. Some people.
Yeah.
Ride with it. It says that means you could have had a few feet away after you got her, not a few feet, like a long way. And if you were unsuccessful in doing that, you could have got her down the road. Okay, I think that's a great question because that's a question a lot of people ask. And some police departments work on that, like the no chase rule,
right?
And all that, because we'll just get them at home later, because that's the lesser thing, which is not safe either. You're going to have a problem at some point.
Yeah.
Somebody is, if they're that much of an outrun.
Right.
I'm not in the don't change. I think if they're going to do it, you come hard because the next guy's not going to run once he sees that.
Yeah.
If you get a reputation, these guys will never chase you. Take off.
Yeah.
But also shooting the tires. And I'm not a police officer. But when bullets start flying all around, they ricochet, they go all over, and there's people around. You don't do that.
No. Police officers, it's like you look at Westerns and it's like they shoot the gun out of the guy's hand. It's like, I'm sorry, that doesn't happen.
No.
Even the best marksmen.
Well, you've read about shootouts between police and bad guy, and they're 20 feet apart, empty their guns, and no one gets hurt.
Exactly.
Adrenaline rushing, and they didn't spend the time in the range.
Flinching and all that stuff that people do. You get tunnel vision and all of that.
It still seems unbelievable.
Yeah.
That you could be so close, but I guess the anxiousness and you're getting fired at and bullets whizzing around. You hear them coming.
You do that.
You start putting the gun out in front of you, moving it, and you're yanking the trigger off to the right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Nicole can tell you all that stuff.
Yeah.
She's a trainer.
That's right.
Yeah, she is. He says you didn't have to do that. She wasn't driving down the road coming at you 90 miles an hour. She was parked in the middle of the street rather than get out of the car. She wrongfully tried to drive off and wrongfully disregarded a law enforcement official, which is exactly what ICE is, and as a result, lost her life because of it. I like that he covers all aspects.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's fair to ask those questions.
Yeah. Well, the one thing you can't pass on is she actually hit him.
Yeah.
It hurts to get hit by a car.
We don't know how much like all the news people are saying that too.
Yeah.
Like Jimmy Kimmel and stuff. No, he says he shot another woman. Yeah. I think it's considered something differently.
Yes.
But I appreciate it. Even though he covered both sides, I think more people need to cover both sides. This is what people are thinking now in a different perspective. Well, he could have just jumped out of the way, possibly.
Yeah.
And drove her off and got her later when she was calmed down or something.
Yeah. Well,
that's not the way to handle a scene where you're in the middle of a situation like that.
Well, she was, according to people at the scene, she was the instigator. She was the leader. She was the one and had been following ICE around and trying to block them several times.
Right.
And plus that it looks like now what we're hearing is that she's actually paid.
Right.
And she has a very checkered past. And there's a lot of more things in her past that are going to come out. But
mainstream press is not going to cover any of that.
No, but
she's just an unarmed woman.
Yeah, but it's coming out on the internet.
And, yeah, it'll be out there.
Yeah.
And then you saw that her wife, she's lesbian. Now she was married to a guy.
Twice and lost her kids in one of the divorces. But
and now the lesbian wife came out and said, "It's my fault. I'm the one who put her up to it and all that stuff." Or God asked her to come. I don't know, something. But she took responsibility for it. But she was very proud of the fact that because the press was asking her, was she there to interfere? Yeah, that's what she was doing. You know, they think that's justified. Like, that's okay.
Yeah, which is a crime. So
Yeah,
that's
it
if that's
is.
what you're gonna do, then you're gonna go to jail or face the consequences. I guess Beretta won't do the crime, can't do the time.
So, so Greg, what 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 is the strategy of the U.S. government, or the states and everybody else, to handle these kinds of situations where the ICE is getting harassed, ICE is getting pushed, and there's not enough officers to arrest all the people blocking streets. There's not, because the police will not help. Now, if there was a police force at the same location, which they should have been because of the stuff that was going on, they should have been there. If they were there to arrest this lady, it would have killed the whole situation. It wouldn't have gotten to this far.
Yeah. So there's a lot of things. You go into the vitriol of Walls and Fry,
Yeah.
the mayor in Minneapolis, and Fry is knee deep. All this fraud that's going on, Fry is knee deep.
You would think so. Now, he's been there for quite a while. He was the mayor,
for George Floyd,
right?
Yeah,
he's the one that said, "Go ahead and take over the police building and all that stuff."
So what a lot of people are just finding out, Fry's wife is an attorney,
Right.
and she represents some of these Somali organizations. In fact, the ones that have committed fraud, and so she is basically getting kickbacks or getting paid for these criminal organizations that are doing these.
She's
things.
on their payroll.
Yeah, and on Somali payroll,
right?
And so people are starting to put this together now that, well, the mayor's basically on, the Somali payroll because
and because of that situation where Tim Waltz is, where Fry is, and all that. I understand they're aggressive. I mean, he's screaming, "Get the F out of my,"
right?
Because his world's going to crumble.
Yes.
His world's going to fall apart. It has to do with him, not with the state, not with the city.
Right.
His personal livelihood depends on that criminal activity continuing.
Yeah, and you look at Walls, who is the governor. You look at Ellison, who's the attorney general, and then you look at Fry, who's the mayor of Minneapolis. They're all knee deep in this thing. They're all one big, huge criminal organization, whether they're organized together or not. But they're all knee deep in this Somali fraud and everything that's going on.
I believe 100% they want the feds out. They want the feds out.
Yeah.
Don't look. Don't open the books.
Yes.
Don't look. At the same time, they don't want the money train to fall to tap to stop. They want the Fed money.
Well, and I think what we see going on is now that you're, the old saying, follow the money. I just made that up. By the way.
It really came from you. That's awesome.
Follow the money, but you can find out that, this money's coming from grants going to NGOs or going to these organizations and back into the Democratic Party. That's how the Democrats, and at least some of the Democrats, are funding their campaigns.
Musk announced that early on in Doge when he saw the NGOs. He was like, "It's crazy."
It's pretty obvious. I mean,
and look, in fairness, he said it was not just Democrats, Republicans. It's just that like 97% are Democrats.
Right.
So there's a few Republicans out there too.
There is.
And they need to be shut down too.
Yes, they do.
It's not a partisan thing for me. It's a right and wrong thing.
Yeah. And I don't know if we're going to get to a spot because there are some very valuable NGOs like Food Bank and stuff like that. But we may be getting to a point where federal government just doesn't fund those things anymore.
Should maybe. I mean, those are conversations to be had.
I mean, just in Minnesota, they've already located $9 billion, and the rumors, the information fraud. Yeah, $9 billion in fraud. I think Minnesota's whole budget's only $18 billion. And
that $9 billion that doesn't really go in their budget because it just goes through them, and if it's federal money,
right? But anyway, it looks like there's many billions more just from Minnesota.
Yeah,
and now you're talking about it expanding. The same thing's happening with Somalis in other states, and Vance, when he was on the TV the other day, alluded to this vast network organized just to do Medicaid, Medicare, and SNAP fraud in the country.
And then the left always jumps up when you say something like that. We want to go look at all this fraud. Well, you're trying to hurt children.
Yeah.
You're taking money away from babies.
Yeah, and what we find out, it's them that has done
Yes,
this because this, the money was supposed to go to autistic children. It's not going. And it just goes on and on.
I don't think the right pushes that enough. I mean, Christy Nome and others should be saying these people are taking money out of babies' mouths.
Yeah.
They're leaving autistic kids on the street and banking it and buying homes.
Yeah, luxury cars and whatever else. Yeah, and I knew there was some, but I never knew it was this bad. I don't think anybody knew it
It's
was
shocking.
this bad.
It's I completely agree. I don't know if it was Elon Musk or somebody was looking at the national end of it, and it says realistically there's about 700 billion state. For the countrywide, and that's only 10% of the budget. Well,
Right.
I think that makes sense. 10%.
Yeah.
Because in right now in Minneapolis, we know it's 50.
Yeah. Well, and one of the stats that I guess I was not surprised that 81% of the Somalis in Minnesota are on welfare.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
And millionaires.
Yes, exactly. Like
But they deal in cash apparently. Apparently
they do. So they were seeing the cash go onto airplanes and go to Africa and buying homes in Kenya and all that kind of stuff, but they didn't stop it.
they can't.
You know why?
It's not against the law.
Well, you know why?
Why?
Because the Minneapolis-St. Paul airport just about is run by Somalis. It's almost all Somalis. You go up there.
My understanding is it was a
amazing.
TSA agent that stopped one. He had
Mhm.
$7,500.
Yeah.
And he couldn't tell you where he got it from. He doesn't know. It doesn't matter.
Mhm.
And he couldn't tell you why he got it and all that. So he called his supervisor. They called the authorities to say, you guys should look at this. They did. They said, can't do anything. Let him go.
Yeah.
Because it's not illegal to carry cash up to 10,000.
Right.
7,500 is not a mistake. I mean,
No, it wasn't.
yeah.
And carrying suitcases of cash out of the Minneapolis-St. Paul airport
Right.
to go over to Kenya and Somalia.
And we don't have any laws against it
Right.
at a certain point, and they didn't surpass that point.
Yeah.
But still, the person they interviewed didn't explain anything. He just says, I'm just carrying it. And we know, I guess they traced some of it that goes right back to terrorist organizations.
Right.
And luxury hotels around homes around the world.
Yeah.
Other places.
I know they bought some homes in Kenya.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're looking to bail once they get caught out. Well, they better start thinking about it.
Yeah. Well, and that's I guess one of the people they convicted had to give all that stuff back. And she's going, oh, that's not right. That's not fair.
They just
give all that stuff.
They just reopened anyway.
Yeah.
Some of them have. I mean, I know there's been some
change the name. They go from leering to learning.
Yeah. That's a name change. You heard about the judge that's in hot water over there. I don't remember her name. I don't have
the one in Wisconsin that let the guy out.
Was it Wisconsin?
Yes, it was
They got a jury to unanimously convict him on fraud. Her. It was a female judge.
Female judge in Wisconsin. Yeah.
Right. And she just threw it out. The conviction, and it was unanimous from a jury.
Oh, that's a different case.
Okay, I think it was Minneapolis, but but I don't have it in front of me.
Yes, that there was.
And the guy was a notorious criminal.
Right.
Yeah, and they're investigating that judge now, as they should. I mean, there's got to be something going on there.
Right.
This guy's a noteworthy bad guy, caught red-handed. Jury gave him 100% guilty.
Yeah. Well, out of all of these things, the last, I want to say 3 years, 4 years, the judiciary has really hurt themselves.
Yeah.
With they've lost a lot of credibility. And you go before a judge, and it's like, okay, is the judge appointed by a Democrat? Is it appointed by a Republican?
It shouldn't matter.
Yeah, I know it shouldn't matter, but
it does.
It does. Yeah. And so, the judiciary has to figure out how to fix themselves.
And the judges that were going after Trump and all that stuff are not going after, because they're not going after, but they're hearing cases for him. Apparently, there was just a handful of judges across the nation that the Dems would be able to get.
Right.
And that's not supposed to be a lottery system and all that, but somehow they're bypassing that.
Yes.
Well,
it goes to think, the judicial branch has canons and laws that they do internally, and somehow they're going to have to My guess is they need to stand up a judicial review board
Yeah.
that reviews these wild decisions or reversals that these judges do, and not take a look at the case, but look at the judge and say, okay, you can't continue,
Yeah.
and
And judges are going to disagree. I mean, that's the
yep,
Supreme Court. You're not going to get a
yep,
unanimous.
absolutely.
It's rare to get a unanimous.
So that's why you have the appeals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're going to disagree. It's not that we have to have everybody agree the same thing, but some have been outrageous
Mhm.
that, us laymen can see
Right. Yeah.
without a law degree, and know that. Let me see Christy Noam talked on this event. I got it on the Stephen Smith uh, article that ICE law enforcement officers have surged more than 1,115% compared to attacks under Biden. Now, I I think that number is easy to reach because Biden didn't have the ICE agents working.
Right.
I mean, I know an ICE agent local,
Hmm. I know several. Yeah.
and they told me the last year Biden they had 12 in the Yuma sector, 12 arrests. Now it's 100 plus 100.
Probably,
It's
probably in the thousands, I would say.
I'm talking just Yuma. They
Yeah.
only have 15 guys in ICE in Yuma, in the
Oh,
Yuma,
yeah?
Yuma
Okay.
sector.
Okay.
There's only 15 guys, but they're getting. Last time I talked to him, he said they're getting more help. I mean, and the help coming in clerical and stuff like that because there's a lot of work to do rather than just going out on the streets and picking somebody up.
Yeah.
That's a special deal. I think. Yeah, I think these are special guys, girls, guys.
Mhm.
They know what kind of pressure they're under. They
Yeah.
know all this stuff, and they they accept it and run, and they're gonna protect you from yourself, even if you're stupid and don't believe it. Right? They're gonna protect cities that hate them.
Right.
They're gonna protect the country, whether you want them in there to do it or not. They're gonna do it.
Right.
I respect that so huge, but it's dangerous.
Yeah. Well, and now they've kind of changed how they operate. Well, they've changed dramatically how they operate, but some of the blue cities, the local police will no longer do their, I guess, do their part and job to help them when they go into these
Yeah.
areas of blue cities. And
Right.
so they've stood up basically a 24-hour, 7 days a week on call force that people volunteer, the agents and stuff volunteer. And so on a 24-hour notice, they're gone. They go to a city to help support the ICE agents and Border Patrol that are working in those cities because they can't get local police officers to do their jobs.
Yeah, just watching it visually, watching some of the most recent stuff, it looks like their tactics are totally different. Like they're
Mhm.
chasing people that are running now. Now that's a big thing for some of these organizations that train them. Agitate, and then run like heck and don't get caught.
Yeah.
They're chasing them down, and then you'll see 15 other guys running with them, and they surround them to get in a circle. In fact, you hear the guy say, "Get a circle, get a circle." They circle around to keep the mob from interfering.
Yeah.
And they're carrying paintball guns,
Well, pepper ball.
well, they're pepper ball,
Yeah. But they're
but they're
paint-
non-lethal,
right.
and they hold them like it's a firearm.
Mhm.
Well, it is. It's a gas operated, but and it's paintball guns, and they got hit on a swivel. They circle the wagons,
Mhm.
get around them. That way, they can't approach
Yeah.
the guy getting arrested.
They also have these. The first time I see these canisters that put out this puff of, I don't know if it's pepper spray or whatever, but they hold it up to the person, they hit the button, and it puts out this
Yeah,
spray in their face to get them to back off.
I like that they don't hesitate using that anymore.
Yes.
They seem to be when somebody gets in their face and won't back off, won't back off. I guess they get a couple wins, then they get a puff.
Yeah.
And that stuff, I've never had it done to me. Have you?
N- Well, yeah, I've been gassed.
You have?
Oh yeah, yeah. The military.
Was that in training? Yeah,
Yes,
training. Okay.
training. Yeah.
Well, see, I've talked to some police officers and stuff too that did have that. And in
Mhm.
fact, Chris Moorhead, my partner, he was auxiliary, and that was part of the deal. You had to had to taste it. They
Taste,
shot
yeah.
you.
Yeah, no, we had yeah, put put in a we were gas put in a gas chamber. Actually, we're gassed in the field too, and then take off your mask, do jumping jacks and all that
Yeah.
kind of stuff. Make sure you get a good good breath, and there is nothing that works like CS gas to clear out the sinuses.
Oh yeah, everybody's drooling and
it's
running,
it's like crystal, so you don't want to wipe. If you wipe your face and stuff, then it burns.
My understanding is they tell you not to, but people do.
Yes,
because it's a reaction.
Yeah, you rub your eyes and stuff. Yeah,
and
it makes it worse.
Well, Chris has told me that he's had to be tased too. You know, that was part of the day. If you carry a taser, you have to experience it.
Yes.
He said, I would get tased any day of the week versus getting the stuff in the spray because it doesn't go away.
Right.
It takes hours.
Yeah. Yes. So you got to go home. You got to be careful. You leave your clothes outside.
Hug your wife.
Yeah.
Went home. Hey, honey, you had a terrible day. Let me tell you about it.
You got to shake your clothes. You got to get everything into the washer to get it done, and then get in the shower right away. And then it will still hang around your face and eyes and stuff for a while.
Very effective. And I know that, and a lot of these agitators, they act totally surprised when it happens to them. Like they don't expect it. They think I have my rights, and they think the rights extend to the point of interference.
Yeah.
The same with this lady that got shot in Minnesota, where her wife was saying, they asked her, was she an agitator? She didn't dodge the question. She says, like she was proud of it. Oh, yes, she was there. She was an agitator.
Yeah, I know.
I would think no comment.
Yeah.
But more is going to come out of that. I'm quite sure. 238 assaults on ICE officers between January 21st and November 21st, 25. Just 19 in 24. And I don't doubt it. Biden didn't have them doing anything.
No, they weren't allowed. They basically were not allowed to do their job. They're not allowed to enforce the law. None of that.
Of course, even if he did, they still wouldn't have that many. This is a public push from some governors and some blue states to resist, and these people are taking it to another level.
You got to go all the way back to the beginning. So the whole purpose of all these illegals brought into the country was states like California had to backfill all the people that left. So they would, California lost a congressional seat, and they actually should have lost more.
Right.
But when they count bodies for the census, like they did, in
2020,
every 10 years. They count illegals too. So California only lost one seat, and they should have actually probably lost 3. And
but they're not supposed to count illegals.
Well, there's nothing. Trump's trying to fix that, but there's nothing. That was a big deal in the last census, whether they were going to count illegals or not, what the questions were. And Trump did not get that done last time. He got too much pushback. But I think he's going to be able to get it done this time.
Well, yeah, because he sees the strategy is killing us.
Yeah.
And if they can't count illegals, maybe there won't be an open border next time we have a Democrat president.
Right. And you see in California where Republican conservatives make up about 40% of the voting bloc in California. But on the legislative side, they only make up 17% or something of the representatives. So that's the whole purpose. To me, that's the whole purpose. They're replacement bodies for the census and trying to do replacement voters to bring these people in. Because, if your gravy train comes from one, from the Democrats, you're going to tend to vote for the Democrats until you get off the gravy train. And then you're going to say, hey, I'm not voting for Democrats because I'm not getting the gravy train anymore.
They make tons of promises. Free health care, free babysitting, free housing, whatever it is, free food. I'm all for that. But then they own you.
Yes.
And it eventually gets cut off because like Venezuela, like Cuba, there's more money going out than coming in. And anybody that's running a checkbook, that doesn't work in the long run.
Yeah.
We got to go. We got to take a break. AM 560.
Look for a high this afternoon of 62. Won't feel like it with winds out of the north at 20 to 30 miles per hour today. 45 and clear tonight. Sunny at 66 on Saturday, 10 to 15 mile per hour winds. Clear at 49 on Saturday night. Sunny and windy on Sunday with a high of 73.
Truckmates, Yuma's Fix Up Your Pickup Truck Store is Yuma's home for snug top shells and lids. Snug top, designed and manufactured to the highest standard. Industry-leading quality and trend-setting design to protect and complement your vehicle. That's Snug Top. Truckmates is also the home of Expert Spray and Bed Liners, spraying mil-spec protective coatings, committed to unwavering excellent and unparalleled customer service. Expert Liners, with available national warranty coverage and installed by Yuma's most experienced spray-on team at Truckmates. Truckmates is also the home for BDS suspensions, the highest quality aftermarket suspension lift kits, leveling kits, and accessories for 4x4 off-road trucks and Jeep enthusiasts. And don't forget 3M window tinting, the originators of window tinting with nationwide lifetime warranty at Truckmates. That's Expert Spray and Bed Liners, BDS suspensions, 3M window tinting, and Snug Top, all at Truckmates, 32nd Street, next to Lowe's.
The Desert Lily Annual Quilt Show is coming Friday and Saturday, January 9th and 10th at the Yuma Civic Center with hundreds of beautiful quilts and wearable art items on display. See the special quilts celebrating America's 250th birthday. There'll be items for sale at the country stores and a fat quarter basket drawing. Admission is just $8. Buy tickets for your chance at winning the Love in a Mist quilt. Proceeds to benefit the Hanson House. The Desert Lily Annual Quilt Show, January 9th and 10th at the Yuma Civic Center. Don't miss it.
Oh, hello, it's me, the calculator that lives inside of TaxSlayer. And let me tell you, I love numbers. 1040s, 1099s, W-2s, all of them. With TaxSlayer, anyone can file a federal return for just $22.99. You'll get 100% accuracy and your biggest possible refund guaranteed. Now those are great numbers. Need help along the way? We've got U.S.-based real human support. File by February 8th for just $22.99. Get the refund you deserve. TaxSlayer, file fearlessly.
The Desert Lily Annual Quilt Show is coming Friday and Saturday, January 9th and 10th at the Yuma Civic Center with hundreds of beautiful quilts and wearable art items on display. See the special quilt celebrating America's 250th birthday. There'll be items for sale at the country stores and a fat quarter basket drawing. Admission is just $8. Buy tickets for your chance at winning the Love in a Mist quilt. Proceeds to benefit the Hanson House. The Desert Lily Annual Quilt Show, January 9th and 10th at the Yuma Civic Center. Don't miss it.
The new year means new resolutions, not just for your body, but for your finances as well. Did you know that financial health is directly related to your identity protection? This is why you need LifeLock. LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points per second. If your identity is stolen, LifeLock's restoration specialist will fix it, guaranteed, or your subscription money back. Resolve to make your identity, health, and wealth part of your New Year's goals with LifeLock. Visit LifeLock.com and save up to 40% off your first year with a promo code BECK. Terms apply.
There's a man in D.C.
Hey, I'm 560 KBLU, Russ Clark with you, and Greg's here.
Yeah, morning.
I know you want to talk about Kelly, which I find interesting. Your military background, you know a lot more about it than I do as far as operational.
Right. So,
This is Mark Kelly, Senator.
Right. Senator Mark Kelly, who was a Navy captain, which is the same as a Marine Corps colonel. And there, underneath the UCMJ, when you accept retirement, you are still under contract until you turn age 65. In other words, you're still part of the military. You can be recalled at any time. And there is a trade-off between free speech and military commitment and those different types of things.
And what's that? What's that limitation?
Well, and this is where I believe Kelly crossed the line.
Okay.
When he said that he was a captain, retired captain in the Navy. Now he has put himself across that line that he is speaking from his position as a Navy captain, not as a senator or as a civilian or anything else like that.
Technically, he probably couldn't have anyway, but that just added to the obvious.
Right. And so, this whole thing, obviously what he did was disgusting. I mean, anybody in the military, anybody with common sense knows that none of those guys, the six, should have done that, but especially Kelly, because of what he had done with his rest of his career. To me, he's thrown his whole career down the toilet because he's compromised his integrity and his honor. And
but it might not matter. His base may probably reelect him over that because they love that he threw his
I don't
integrity.
know. I don't know. I think that was, I believe that was a big swing in his political viability. But time will tell. But so what's happened is the Department of Defense did an administrative review of his actions and came out with an administrative reduction, one rank. So he's make sure I get all of the
like a lieutenant colonel, whatever that is.
Yeah, lieutenant colonel commander, and at a commensurate reduction in his retirement pay. That was an administrative action. He has the choice to refuse that. Obviously, he can make a statement, which will just go into his record book, or he can refuse that and request a court martial.
I understand he's got 30 days to do that.
I think that's
what I read, that he had 30 days to call it an appeal.
Right. But when he goes back, if he requests a court martial, that's a special court martial. Now, special court martial can award a bad conduct discharge, can take all his, take more rank. It can take a lot more. A lot can happen underneath the special court martial. So there's summary, which he can't request, but a special court martial he could. And then there's I'm dating myself and I'm kind of forgetting. And then
but then he'd have to go to a court martial. He would go to like a panel of
trial of his peers. Yes.
So it would be other colonels or captains and people of similar,
probably other Navy personnel, and
so it wouldn't be necessarily judges, or would it be people that are normal?
I think he still has the ability to request a judge only,
and this would be military judges, right?
Yes,
not civilian
staff judge advocates.
So right. you can't get a partisan judge.
No,
you're going to get military,
right?
Yeah,
and so they're
going to be more literal, yes. Hopefully, than our.
Oh, it's I would say 99% of the time it's black and white.
Okay,
this is the UCMJ. This is what it says.
No gray areas.
And so he could get his own counsel and that kind of stuff. But if he requests a court martial, which is his only way to try to totally beat this, there's a lot more at stake. A lot more could happen to him. I'm not saying it would, but he's really rolling the dice, and
so
probably not in his favor.
Kind of like that Jack Nicholson, Tom Cruise movie. What was that?
You can't handle the truth.
Yeah,
whatever it was.
Was that A Few Good Men or something? I don't know. Something along that line, where it was about the jury trial of a military colonel,
right?
That was way out of line and lying about it.
Yep.
But it's a different feel, obviously.
It is not. It is very a special court martial, which I've been part of, and several.
You were being court martialed?
No.
Okay. Good.
No. I was on the jury, and I've been a court martial officer too, running a court martial and a summary and that kind of thing. But it's the same but different than a civilian court. The military court is much tighter, much stricter, as you would imagine, than civilian courts. And not that the civilian courts don't do a great job, but it's a different animal, and he would be literally throwing the dice if he requested a court martial.
And if I remember that movie, if any of it's accurate, you can tell me. But Tom Cruise was playing like the prosecutor in that. He was a lawyer. He was playing a prosecutor for the military.
Right.
And they kept cautioning him, don't attack the witness. Don't say something that could get you court-martialed or get you kicked out or something. You'll get you in trouble.
There are. Yeah,
there's a line.
It's Hollywood, so it's not completely accurate.
That's what I'm asking. Are things like that can happen?
Yes, they can. The judge who is usually a lieutenant colonel at least. Obviously, for Kelly, if he requested a special, it'd be at least an equal rank, so it'd at least be another Navy captain. So, but I really think he's going to end up having to just accept the administrative reduction because going to a court martial is pretty risky.
He's gone on air saying that this isn't over and it's not right. No, I mean he's really fine. which I think is just hurting him, isn't it? Is that, would that,
Yeah, I just can't imagine that he would do the special court martial because the military, just like Border Patrol and all that kind of stuff, is back. The military
no
was
longer DEI.
right, no longer DEI, no longer anybody can do any job and things like that. The military's back,
Okay.
and they, well, I would say it's probably in the 90 percentile supporting Trump, what's going on. They know Trump has their back. He's getting them the better pay that they deserve. I mean, it goes all the way back to
Give him a bonus.
Yeah, it goes back to Reagan was the first one that actually got the military back after the Carter years. Carter years were horrendous when I was in. It was horrible.
They named the ship after him, didn't they?
They did. Well, because he was a Naval Academy grad, nuke sub guy, I believe. I know his nuclear and stuff. He's a smart guy, and
Right.
he's a good guy.
Bad president.
He was a horrible president. Yeah, it's like Biden.
Mhm.
Well, I don't think Biden's a good guy though.
No.
But anyway, and
No.
Jimmy Carter, not a good guy, but he did okay as president. I'll give him an okay as president.
He failed. He couldn't even get the Democrats to agree with him, man. And,
Yeah, but he's not a good person.
but no, he is a good person. I mean, afterwards he went to Habitat for Humanity, gave back to the
Carter,
country.
yes.
Carter.
Yeah.
Biden, he's
No.
Well, he's gone anyway. He doesn't know what he's doing.
Yeah. So that's kind of my summation of the Kelly deal.
And I'm curious here, but if I remember back to the commercial that they ran, they flashed a picture of him in his uniform, which I think is another.
That is a no-no. Exactly.
He knows that.
Yes, that was a no-no. Identifying himself as a captain.
Well, he did it verbally, and then he
Right.
did it.
That is using your uniform for political statements, and that in itself, at a court martial, with the statements that he did, is probably enough to convict him. They probably don't even have to have a trial. They just show that to the jury or the judge, and what he said, along with flashing a picture of him in uniform. Yeah.
So you think the Pentagon did him a favor by just saying we're going to drop one rank?
I don't know if I'd say a favor, but I think
could have been much worse.
Cut him a huss is the right word. But that's why when you see these commercials of military people in uniform, they're wearing camouflage utilities.
Yeah.
There's no rank insignia. There's no identifying patches usually.
Oh.
So if you look at, they'll maybe have their name patch on or kind of have a weird camouflage outfit on.
Not a standard.
Yeah, not a standard outfit. And so you look at those commercials.
Like a Hollywood.
Yeah, they're not going to have U.S. Navy or U.S. Marine Corps on them or anything like that. They're going to be plain, maybe a name tape on there, and that's about it. That's why, because that's when you go over the line. Flashing him in uniform with his whole uniform, that's yeah.
And he knew that was in there. I mean, and the whole message was wrong.
Yeah.
Trying to seed that thought that you can disobey orders, which it's in the code. And in his whole defense, we're just stating the code. We're stating code. It's how they went about it.
Exactly.
And the fact that they pointed Trump out.
He used his rank and his service to try to push a narrative to sow discord in military service.
They didn't restate the code just for training purposes of military.
No,
they did it to sow doubt.
Exactly, they did. And I don't think anybody with just a little bit of common sense will be able to see their way through that. And that's why I think if he goes in front of a judge or if he goes in front of a jury, jury's going to go, we're not stupid.
Would that be publicized? I mean, is that something? No, they won't do that.
Not usually.
Because I'd love to see a question of, well, if you say everyone already knows it, why did you do the commercial?
Yeah.
What was the rationale? If it's something that everybody knows.
Yeah.
Well, do you think we're not trained well enough?
He's gonna repeat the same lines. Well, I just wanted to make sure that they knew because blah blah blah. And he's
but it makes him look like an idiot.
Well, he is an idiot. He's an idiot for doing it. All the good things that he's done over his career, to me, they're all gone. I have no respect for somebody like that.
When he gets on the air, you're always going to run through his resume.
Yeah. Yes.
That's bad form.
Yeah, and I really don't think he ever would have been elected if it wasn't for his wife and all the unfortunate things
That was
happened
terrible.
to her. Yeah, he was not on anybody's radar.
But the society shouldn't have to pay a price and endure him because of that terrible incident.
Right.
But the guy goes no better. He's more slick. He's more of a snake, I think.
Yeah. Well, he was right there too. Yeah, we do not have good
It's
representation in
embarrassing
the Senate right now.
that's our state representative in the Senate. Two of them that are just like horrible.
Yeah.
And the left love them both.
Yeah.
They think that's the ideal candidate. We want more like him. But Gallego, even when he ran, he kept putting these commercials out, made him look like Reagan or something. Like, I'm going to protect the border and all that. Out and out lies.
Yeah.
And what we need is a more comprehensive border bill. That's also a lie.
Mm-hmm.
I think Trump proved that, didn't he?
Yes. Yes, he did.
Yeah. But they don't care. They're going to keep doing it. I understand he lives in the D.C. area.
Gallego?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I understand. He doesn't really reside in Arizona.
Yeah, I'd probably do something like rent a bedroom or something like
which
that.
Which they can do, I guess. They can do. Now, we just talked about the shooting that happened in Minneapolis. Did you know there was a shooting in Portland, too?
Yes. Same.
Yeah, and same thing where they put a car was pulled over, and the driver, which they think was a Venezuelan gang, the Trinidad, bad guys, decided he was going to weaponize his vehicle and attempt to run over law enforcement agents.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, and the agents fired a defensive shot, according to the article. I don't know if that's what Jimmy Kimmel would say.
Well,
and the driver drove off with the passenger. They just drove off. Well, somebody got a call that they'd been shot,
mm-hmm.
and the guy was shot twice in the arm, and the wife shot once in the chest.
Yeah,
what she believes she's a wife and all that stuff. So the ramifications of that. I mean, and you had mentioned, I think it was off air, that you really believe some of these NGOs, some of these people that are causing all this chaos want these kinds of things to happen.
They do. Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt that they want problems to happen. People get beat up, or that the people that they're paying get beat up, so they can just double down. And I think we're seeing that. We're seeing that around the country. Saw it with George Floyd, and now I think we're seeing it again.
St. George. This happened at 2:00 in the afternoon, and the Border Patrol agents stopped the vehicle, identified themselves as law enforcement. Of course, they're all dressed in law enforcement,
right?
And they stopped him to talk to the driver, and the driver attempted to run him over after the stop.
Yeah.
And so it's pretty cut and dry to me. I mean, the girl in Minneapolis was an agitator, blocking. She was breaking the law, and there was no law enforcement officers to do anything. And the agents finally came to take her out of the car. She arrest her, and they were going to arrest her on federal charges.
Right.
And that's when she went to run him over.
Yeah.
The Portland mayor, though, Keith Wilson, called on immigrations and custom offices to halt all operations in this city until a full independent investigation can take place, which would take a couple of years. We know that the federal government says happened here. Wilson's during a news conference, but there was a time when we could take them at their word. That time has long passed. So he's saying they're liars.
Yeah, it's
these Nazi jackbooted thugs, ICE agents, are liars too.
Yeah.
I don't know who the liars are, but there's somebody out there that is. A liar, Wilson added that the ICE agents and DSH leadership must fully be investigate them, and held responsible for the violence inflicted in the American people in Minnesota and Portland and in the other communities in across America.
Yeah, as far as I know, the violence is coming from the left. That's where the violence is being caused from.
Is Trinidad known for violence? I think their slogan is "Rape, Murder, Kill" or something, something like that.
Machetes and chopping off heads.
Yeah, something like that.
They do.
Yeah, but he's not the only governor that's saying it. I got a lot of them that are. Well, he's the mayor. There's governors out there that they're not even involved in them.
Yeah,
that are coming forward.
Well, it's now their whole strategy and way of getting elected, raising funds. They're organizational structure is all being threatened right now
Yeah.
because the money that they're getting and using overall is being threatened. And
It is.
yeah,
NGOs, we know, funnel a ton of money to
Yeah.
the politics
yeah.
in general.
And we talked
to
about
NGOs.
that. There are great NGOs,
Sure,
you
it
know,
can
food
be.
bank and all this kind of stuff that do great things. But then there are these criminal food banks that we see in Minnesota and all over the place. And I guess like
But
90,
they're outrageous. They claim
Yeah.
to have served like thousands of kids a month, and they don't even have the facilities big enough for that.
right.
We got to take a break. It's top of the hour, 7 o'clock, AM 560.
There's a man in D.C. He's 6'3". He's fighting.
This is News Talk 560 KBLU, Yuma.
News alert, drop in unemployment. I'm Dave Anthony. We just got that up the economy. No, there was a little less hiring last month.
There were 50,000 new jobs created last month. Economists were predicting 60,000. The unemployment rate improved, declining 4.4%.
That's a 2/10 decline from November's rate, which was a 4-year high. We don't have reaction yet from President Trump. In a few hours, with oil company executives.
They've been great. They really have been. Everything we wanted, they've given us.
Regarding Venezuela, the oil company executives, he said, will put up to at least $100 billion into the Venezuelan economy to rebuild their industry. The president also tells Fox that they've done well releasing political prisoners. And Fox's Sean Hannity asked President Trump about meeting with Maria Corina Machado, the Nobel laureate, honored for her opposition to Nicolas Maduro in Venezuela that got her jailed.
They're going to go in. They're going to rebuild the whole oil infrastructure. They're going to spend at least $100 billion.
Would you accept the Nobel Prize she wants to hand to you?
Well, I understand she's coming in next week sometime. And I look forward to saying hello when I heard that she wants to do that. That would be a great honor.
2 people are hospitalized in Portland, Oregon, shot in the Border Patrol immigration stop. Homeland Security says they had alleged gang ties, apparently affiliated with Tren de Aragua. The statement added the wounded suspects were in a car, and when CPB agents identified themselves, the driver attempted to run the agents over. That was when one of the agents fired a defensive shot at the car. That's Fox's Journal Scott. It's similar to Wednesday's shooting in Minneapolis, where an immigration officer opened fire on a woman in her SUV as she tried to drive off after blocking an ICE vehicle. The protesters in Minneapolis are calling it murder. America's listening to Fox News.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You sort through tons of resumes and get too many so-so applicants. You're just waiting for someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now, there's a place where you can meet them fast. ZipRecruiter.
For strong candidates, the right fit away.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free, and you're on your way to meeting your match. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. So try it now. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
From the News 11 Information Desk, I'm Selena Guimera. Pima County Board of Supervisors is looking for help at the federal level to handle issues with the railroad crossing. The Board of Supervisors says they've had hundreds of complaints from locals regarding the portion of railroad crossings near Highway 95. People say they get caught up in lines for hours. When it rains, the crossing has closed down for days. The board is looking to get funding for an overpass to be built over the rack. But in the meantime, they're looking for a temporary solution. Union Pacific says they will provide a statement soon. Plus, Arizona Public Service donated a Chevrolet Silverado pickup truck to the West Turn Laguna veterans. APS says it's a way for them to support services for veterans in the area. The Veterans Association provides accommodation, food, medical supplies to those who need it most. Catch us on TV side on News 11 every weekday at 5, 6, and 10 p.m. for your latest local news, weather, and sports.
Listen to KBLU tonight every Monday morning to Life, Death, and the Law. Sean Garner and Adam Hansen discuss estate planning options. Learn how you can plan your estate using a will or trust to protect your family and secure your legacy. That's Life, Death, and the Law every Monday, 8 to 9 a.m. on 560 KBLU.
There's a man in D.C. He stands 6'3".
AM 560 KBLU. Russ Clark back with you. Greg's here.
Yeah. Good morning.
You know, I talked about other governors we left that were getting involved in this. Oregon governor, which is involved. She's in Portland there, but Tina Kotek. She claimed it was instigated by the reckless agenda of the Trump administration. That's where it's coming from. While the details of the incident remain limited, one thing is very clear. When a president endorses tearing families apart and attempts to govern through fear and hate rather than shared values, you foster an environment of lawlessness and recklessness. So much wrong with that statement. One is, and she says, attempt to govern through shared values. What shared values do we have with Somalians? They apparently are pretty clannistic themselves.
They do. They're very tribal. And that's part of what happened is when they were moved from Somalia, who I've been to Somalia, I think I told you.
Yeah.
They tried to kill us, but went to Somalia. And so their tribe and their tribal leaders and their tribal organizations moved with them to the United States. So there's a couple of different tribes in Minnesota. And the tribe that's in charge, the dominant one, of course, is with Omar and Fry. That's why Fry beat the other Somali because that they ran in the Minneapolis mayor race.
Better tribe.
Yeah, they had more votes because they had the dominant tribe, and I'll remember the name of the tribe again in a minute. But
yeah.
So they had the dominant tribe, and the mayor that lost was in the non-dominant tribe. They didn't have as many votes, and he was actually Somali. And I think this mayor is not. However, his wife is a lawyer who represents Somali organizations.
Now, this governor also goes on. I mean, she says in that statement, endorses tearing families apart. And that's a story you hear all the time when you have to arrest a criminal. Can't arrest them because it's tearing families apart. And I mean, some of these guys are murderers or suspected murderers. Some of them are criminal, you know, as far as theft, robbery, fraud, all the assaults. And in this country, even if you have a family, you're going to get arrested for doing those things.
Yeah.
And does it tear the families apart? I bet you it does. You know, dad had to go to jail because he was a bank robber. Not a good thing for the kids to grow up with, but we're not going to stop arresting them.
Right.
For that. Oregon's Attorney General and other leaders have raised concerns with the excessive use of force by federal agents in Portland. Just... You know, and I guess it sounds good to the people who are trying to rally, but what's excessive? What do they mean? From what I've seen on the tapes, they're more tolerant than I would be.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely they are.
Yeah. Those guys put up with the screaming, the yelling, the pushing, the shoving, jumping in front of the cars.
Yeah. So the line to me has been that as long as they don't put a hand now, not before, but now, as long as they don't put a hand on the officers or spit on them or something like that, they don't arrest them. They just sit there and watch. As soon as they touch an officer or spit on them, which happened a couple of times yesterday, boom, they're gone. They take them away. So, you know, and in those, I don't know.
Can't they mace them first and then let them take them away?
Yeah. Tase them,
that gets them more
them.
quiet.
Yeah.
Then they just start crying. You know,
yeah.
Looking for comfort.
I think they need tranquilizer guns is what I think they need.
This governor says today's incident only heightens the need for transparency and accountability. There's nobody more transparent than Trump. He tells you what he's doing.
Yeah.
He tells you what's going on.
Whether you like it or not, whether it's politically correct or not, Trump tells you.
It's Biden that would do things behind the scenes, like hiring airplanes, moving people around in the night, having airplanes go pick up illegals so they don't have to walk in. They can get picked up at their home country and brought in.
Well, they had some flights came in here here at night.
Yeah.
Right in here at Yuma.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah, quite a bit. And I got people are sending me pictures of these planes and stuff, saying, "Look, these guys are doing stuff at night." Trump doesn't do anything at night. He opens up Alcatraz, in Florida. He's proud of it and goes out there and talks about it.
Mm-hmm.
Biden was, behind the scenes lying.
Yeah.
And not open. I don't think we're going to get this. The Attorney General in Oregon, Rand Rayfield, said the state DOJ has launched a formal investigation into the shooting. Well, that's fine. They should. But just like in Minneapolis, they're not going to cooperate or communicate.
Right.
Because, in Minneapolis, they have their own police bureau, the Portland Police Bureau. Oh no, that's this one.
Minneapolis.
Minneapolis has their own too, and they want to do an investigation, but they said the FBI won't give them records or whatever.
Well, so here's
won't
the
share.
solution for Kristi Noem, for Secretary Noem. What I would tell her is say, yes, we are absolutely 100% willing to cooperate with you in this investigation. All you have to do is cooperate with us. Turn over the 580, 680 illegals you have in your jails right now. And when we issue a retainer, you turn them over to us and we will cooperate with you 100%.
The incident would have never happened if there was a cooperation going on.
Yeah, that's true too. But
because the police would have been there and put a stop to, the interference from the civilians.
Well, see, and that's the thing with co-op, the word cooperation, it's a two-way street.
It is.
They want a one-way street.
Well, they're saying, because they weren't there and they didn't work the scene, they didn't do anything, they went to the FBI and said, "We're investigating this too. Give us everything you have."
Yeah.
And they said, "No."
Yeah. You weren't even on scene. The FBI does have jurisdiction, by the way. So
yes.
Yeah.
And they don't have to. I mean, it makes sense to be working together and have them both look at it.
It does.
But they aren't willing to until they think they've got some political leverage to do it.
Yeah.
That's it. And it's completely obvious, but they're not working together. And it's a shame. But I hope at some point we get there. And I think the only way to get there is that Trump has got to win this midterm election.
Yeah. Well, you don't see these things happening, in Minnesota and Portland and stuff in other places.
No.
Where there's cooperation, even in some of the places where some of the blue mayors, I think they have red governors, but blue mayors are cooperating. You hear nothing. You're hardly hearing anything about all these other places because these types of arrests are going on all over the country.
And it's the administrators, the governors, the mayors, and all that are pushing for it. They're pushing the violence against ICE. And then they scream, "Oh my gosh, there's violence. It's ICE's fault."
Yeah.
I don't think so.
But that's it. I mean, these things are going on all over the country, and you only hear about them in these places where the governors and the mayors are, the vitriol that they throw out.
Massachusetts is not getting enough notice and enough heat. So their governor, which is a Democrat, jumped in, Maura Healey. She demanded the two private jet aircraft companies that are providing flights for ICE to quickly remove illegal immigrants. That we start working with them. We don't allow those planes to take off here anymore. Says they are hardworking, productive, and I believe beloved members of our community who have been indiscriminately targeted for deportation proceedings. She says that about the people ICE is picking up.
Right.
Has she seen the records on these people and who they are? I bet not.
Well, I don't think they want to pay attention to them. I mean, pedophiles, rapists, and drug dealers. That's the majority. I think it's something like 75% of them are underneath that ilk.
And then she says, some have been United States citizens. What does that mean? If you're a United States citizen, you're a United States citizen, as far as I know.
Yeah.
And some have been children. I think they've all been children.
Sometimes.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. Someone needs to bring this governor up to date. As we've seen in our communities, most recently in Minnesota, ICE tactics are increasingly chaotic, brutal, and even deadly. This doesn't make our community safer. In fact, it makes us less safe. So she said that even the Trump administration use of private jets for ICE activity is costing taxpayers while private airlines profit. Well, what do you think Biden did? Nobody hired more planes than Biden.
Yeah.
because he was transporting people in
right
that were illegal. And he says, it's just safer. So we have to send him a plane. He didn't want the borders to look too chaotic.
Right. Well, and that's why he made the Border Patrol, instead of processing them the way they were supposed to, he made them just release. I mean, we had illegals, criminals just released in the streets here behind the Walmart on Avenue B and that kind of stuff. They just released illegals into our country all over the place.
I've had Border Patrol agents explain that to me. It's a fact. And that's what they have to do. They can't, if they can't detain them, they can't detain them. And they say, well, can you give us a ride to Walmart? He said, sure, we'll give you a ride to Walmart. And they drop them off.
Yeah.
But there's so many people that I've said that on the air, and they said, it's not true. It's not true.
No, it is absolutely 100% true.
It's absolutely true.
Yeah.
Then they go in and buy a bunch of new clothes and a hat. They'll walk down the street with a tag on it.
Well, and they have Western Union there, then where whoever, if they're being trafficked, they can wire them money and they get their bus ride or plane ticket wherever they're going.
Avalo Airlines, a company that previously chartered flights for ICE in Massachusetts, recently announced it's going to cut all ties with the administration, which is fine. They're a private company, do whatever you want. But the governor uses that as an example. This is the governor of Massachusetts. She's just not getting enough attention.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. Walz is sucking up all the limelight, I guess.
Yeah, Tampon Tim.
Yeah.
I
still think there's many more shoes to fall up there.
We'll see. Venezuela, I'm sure you had to be interested in that when that happened. We don't really know how all those operations work. There's a lot of things on YouTube that explain what they imagine happened. Probably some of it's pretty close to the truth. But
I have an idea.
Yeah, I imagine. Did you know there was a second wave scheduled?
Yes, I did. They called it off because the first wave was so successful and
there's cooperation.
Yeah. And the vice president basically says,
don't
blow me up.
I was totally surprised that at first when I saw Trump that said he was going to stick with the Constitution of Venezuela or with the vice president who was inaugurated, and that's who we're going to work with. And because there was a lot of push to bring in that lady, that Maria, that had won the election against Maduro, but Maduro, because he owns the military, said, no, you didn't. And she's out of country. And he thought, this lady will have the cooperation of the military, have the cooperation of the power and all that, and we'll try to work with her. And apparently she's been receptive, at least for now and verbally. But
I think, their constitution calls for an election within 30 days, but Trump was like, I'm guessing this is what he's saying. He's saying, they can't do a legit election. We'll just get another dictator, again, if we try it right now. But I think he believes that if he stabilizes the country for a while, that they may be able to have an election and get some of these generals out of there, and then have a legitimate election.
Well, he's pretty much cut off the money, but he's offering to give them much more money than they've ever had.
Yes,
if you work with us.
So what I'm kind of curious how he's going to, because all the money now is flowing, or all the oil is flowing through the U.S. I'm interested to see if the U.S. trades goods with that, like they supply food to all these people that don't have enough food in Venezuela and that kind of stuff, or how they're going to do all that.
Right now, because the oil's off book and it's illegal and all that, they've been getting a much lower price to China and all that stuff.
Right.
Now, Trump wants them to get full price. You guys deserve full price.
Exactly.
And we'll get it for you. Let's legitimize it all. And the heck with China. And you can't sell to Cuba.
Yeah.
Or give it to Cuba. And that's going to destroy Cuba.
Yes.
Financially, they don't have anything they sell, I don't think.
Right.
I mean, they can't exist without all these other communist countries propping them up.
I don't think they can exist just selling baseballs and stuff like that. I think they just make all the baseballs down there.
They don't have anything going on. They used to be a great tourist attraction. I mean, there were hotels, casinos, all kinds of stuff. When they threw out the capitalist, the evil capitalist, and Castro took it over and turned it into what it is. It's poverty. They still drive the same cars that they had when
Yeah.
I mean, it's like going back in time when you walk down the street. Apparently, I've never been there, but
Yeah, I've seen pictures and stuff like that. Yeah, they have all 1950s cars, and
because they can't afford a new car.
Right. Yeah.
But they get free medical. There's no doctors, but if they did,
Right.
it would be free. And he
Yeah.
says, and Trump is saying in Venezuela, we're not going to pay. The taxpayers aren't going to pay. Big oil.
Yeah.
We'll let business do it. The business will get the oil running. The oil will pay for the restructuring and all that, and we'll support it.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm supposed to ask you. So you do you remember interviewing Gabby Franco? She was an Olympic shooter, escaped from Venezuela.
Yeah. It's been a while.
Yeah. So it's been a while, but her parents are still down there, and so we have a direct line. Yeah, you could interview her again.
I would like to.
Yeah, and Nicole can give you the money, or give you the
money. I'd like the money. Tell her write me a check.
Yeah, but anyway, she's been relaying about what's going on down there and how.
Oh, she had.
Yeah. So
Nicole's in touch with her still.
Yeah, because her parents, Gabby Franco's parents, still go down there. And for the audience, Gabby Franco escaped from Venezuela. She's obviously anti-communist. Her husband is in the military, and she's actually an Olympic shooter. She can really shoot, and that's how Nicole and her have ties. But that would be a good interview because she can tell you exactly how excited the people are and how much behind Trump they are. Now, they're still afraid, from what she's saying. They're still afraid because they don't quite know how this is all going to settle out.
They have every right to be afraid. I'd be terrified.
But
because there's thugs on the street still. There's Maduro supporters. And those guys are armed. The population isn't.
Right.
Unlike America.
So anyway, so that would be a great interview for you if you brought Gabby on the air.
I would like that much. The White House said on Friday that at least $100 billion be invested by big oil, not by American taxpayers, by big oil, all of whom will be meeting today. They're going to be at the White House today to sit down and talk about that. Now, Trump put out on Truth Social, I have just been informed that Venezuela is going to be purchasing only American-made products with the money they received from our new deal. It's an oil deal.
Right.
These purchases will include, in other words, it'll go back like it was, where American companies are running the oil.
Right.
They make profits on it. The country gets royalties. And they get a chunk of it all.
And for everybody out there, if you don't know, the U.S. companies used to run most of the oil fields in Venezuela, and they were kicked out, and they
were stolen from it. They stole it. They called it nationalizing it.
Yeah, they confiscated all their assets, billions of dollars worth of assets,
and they didn't pay
put
them.
in there. Right.
And now those assets are rusted and apparently in disrepair because they can't produce oil like they used to. I mean, it's a fraction of what they used to have.
Yeah. But this basically what's going on. This is now just a reset, going back to and allowing those companies to go back in to do some of the things.
So nothing. This is going to help everybody in Venezuela, and the left hates that. They don't want to help those people.
They want the issue rather than the solution.
They want communism.
Yeah. If Trump's involved, they want the issue. They do not want the solution. And I mean, that's what I see going on, and they're trying to complain. Well, he said he was going to take care of high prices and all this kind of stuff. Well, he's doing that.
Oh, gosh.
He's doing that.
Our average inflation is much lower.
Yeah. But they're on the same thing. If you hear something 7 times, you start to believe it. And that's the way the Democrat and the media organizations are working. And because he's really doing all of it. It was like, the eggs are out of control. And, the eggs are out of control. And then he brings that down. And
I saw $1 a dozen the other day at Smart and Final.
Yeah. And what was it, up to $8 or something?
Yeah, $8, $9, $10.
The key thing, though, is he's brought the price of gasoline down, which brings the price of everything down. And they're talking about a GDP, gross domestic product,
over 4%.
Yeah, maybe even all the way up to close to 5.
Yeah.
That we haven't seen that in a long time.
No, the numbers are looking so much better.
Yeah,
right now.
And so he's walking and chewing gum at the same time. That's the way I would put it. He's able to handle the domestic things while he's looking at the security. It's the security of our nation is Venezuela is on the verge of falling, Cuba's on the verge of falling, Iran's on the verge of falling. All these things that have plagued us, United States and the free world for decades. And, those that can go back and remember when the Shah was in Iran was a great trading partner.
Sure. They were a friend.
They bought our military equipment. They had F-14s. They did all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And Iran was a great partner. And then these terrorists
and stuff.
Anyway, took over and completely changed it. And the people have been suffering ever since they took over.
Well, all the females had to give up their driver's license. I don't know if that's a good thing for society or not.
That's sexist would say.
That's Nicole.
Yeah.
Maybe made it safer in Iran. I don't know. But yeah, everybody had to go back to traditional Sharia law type standards and stuff. And you could get stoned to death now.
Yeah. Well, and Iran is the population is erupting at all levels,
there's riots, and that's another one of those countries you don't protest because you're risking life, literally.
Yeah.
Like in Russia, they're doing the same, protesting, and that's usually not done. Like in China too, Tiananmen Square was a big deal because it doesn't happen, and then people died.
Yeah. Well, and it'll be interesting to see if Trump does strike the Republican Guard, who are they're kind of Ayatollah's prime military force, the Republican Guard, if he strikes them.
My hopes and wishes are that there's Trump has done enough to where the Republican Guard is just not going to risk it. But I don't know.
They've arrested like over 2,000 people, and they've killed around 40 people.
Really?
Yeah, and I saw some videos of gunfire in the streets and stuff.
What happened was so decisive in Iran with the nuclear power plant, and then what happened in Venezuela was amazing, amazing. And everyone across the world watching that, and it may be the reason that Cuba's going to fall, because they suspect that they're not going to have any money because now Venezuela's been propping them up, and Venezuela can't.
Right.
They can't give them oil anymore because there's an embargo, and now a deal being made with the president there, who she's now president, that they're not going to ship anything except to America.
Yeah,
and that's the deal. I gotta put Edward on the record here, my fact checker.
Okay.
Because you and I disagree with him, I think. He talks about the woman in Minnesota. He's watched the tapes, and he says, I'm not certain about who was responsible, but the woman was interfering in unlawful action. This may be Waltz's ticket back into the governor's race, as the fraud will no longer be researched. I just don't believe that.
No, I don't.
And maybe I'm Pollyanna and stupid, and I don't think so, but he's on the record, so I can say you were wrong. Can we do that later?
The people in Minnesota are too, they're not going to be distracted about this.
I mean, Edward's a smart guy. He follows trends. He follows personal stuff. So anything he says, I pay attention. But I hope he's wrong. I said,
yeah. Well, I think, Well, I think the Democrats would be stupid if they did something like that to try to bring him back.
He said the strategy of the protest is distraction. I believe that.
Yeah,
but I don't think the distraction is going to get Waltz back into power.
No. So, well, one of the things that I've heard and seen and whatever is that reason why Kamala chose Walz is because he raised so much money, and they think he raised a bunch of money because he was getting money out of a Somali fraud to fire over to Kamala, and that's why Kamala picked him, because he raised a lot of money really quick.
I'm gonna change what I said about Edward. I'm gonna say that he may be wrong. Because he texted me and he said the key word is may.
Yes.
Because he said this may put Waltz back on the ticket, which I read it as it was on.
Yeah.
Well, Edward may be wrong.
Yeah. He may be right, he may be wrong.
He may be wrong.
I think Minnesota's too ticked off at Walz, what they've done and spending, it looks like now from what they're saying, but it's for sure over $1 billion. And it looks like it's over $9 billion now.
But the point Edward's making is we need to keep an eye on it.
Yeah.
Don't fall asleep on it. Don't think, well, that's done. We'll move on to something else.
Yeah. Well, if you saw JD Vance interview yesterday, they announced that they are getting appointed a special assistant attorney general just to investigate this fraud, to run it down.
Yeah.
and run down, follow the money for all these protests, that assistant attorney general is going to focus on that. So that's what makes me think, at least for the next 3 years, that this isn't going to go away. I think they're going to keep going.
Yeah. Well, I hope so, but it's also going to be federal anyway. I mean, there's going to be a lot of federal too, and they're not going to stop. And he wrote Mark Kelly, I'm sorry, has grown in popularity, and people are stating that he could ride this issue to the White House. Now, uh, maybe,
maybe on the Democrats, maybe so.
maybe, and maybe, and I look at him as losing popularity. And of course, my bubble's a little different, although I pay attention to all bubbles. I try to, but in the state of Arizona, I don't think he's growing popularity.
I don't think
Now,
so.
maybe he has in the country because they're saying, "Wow, what a hero! He's standing up for Democrat values."
Well, those with the TDS, Trump derangement syndrome,
Yeah.
he definitely has gained popularity. But his name is now out there. They say there's nothing, no such thing as bad press. But
all press is good. Yeah,
but I don't know. I just gotta believe that military and retired military would never vote for Kelly after what he did. I don't care if you're Republican, Democrat, Independent, doesn't matter. But we'll have to see.
wow. And it was Nicole that said Edward was wrong. I see. That J.D. Vance just announced new assistant AG to research the Minnesota fraud specifically. So Edward's wrong. No,
I would keep the word may.
I would put maybe wrong.
Because you never know. I mean, there's so many things that have happened over the last, I would say, 5 years that are like I never thought we would see.
Yeah.
I mean, things in our public schools, I never thought we would see stuff in
I didn't
our
either.
public schools, and
Yeah.
there've been such a disappointment.
It has been.
Yeah.
It's good. Edward's not done correcting me yet. But he says Democrats do not have to get past 3 years. They only have to get when the Democrats take back the House in 2027, or Democrats force an end to the investigation to keep or reopen the government in the next CR. Maybe
we'll see.
And what Edward's putting out is probably on their strategy list.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. I'm sure they're trying to, I would put that in the 50-50.
Yeah.
Right. Edward's right. It's
don't say Edward's right on this show.
I said Edward may be right.
Maybe right. There you go.
Maybe right on this. But anyway, because how this is all going to play out. But if Cuba folds, if Iran folds, and the Venezuela thing works out right, then I think the midterms are going to go for the conservatives, and I
like to think the same thing, that that's because I set myself up for disappointment. Maybe I don't know,
but it is it's about the economy. So if these things pan out like Trump believes they do, and I actually believe they will too.
Well,
all these things, all these actions that he's taken, and now with the home thing where he's doing where corporations can't buy homes now.
But you bring up a great point of if these things pan out, and the strategy of the Democrats is make sure they don't pan out. So continuing resolutions, like Edward mentioned, is a possibility of blocking the government again, even if they take some heat over it. At least things won't pan out, and the economy won't be good, and then that's on the president.
Yeah, and that's where we're at. The
Yeah.
Republican Party wants the country to succeed. The Democrat Party wants it to fail, and that's where we're at. And the next election, the midterms, will all be decided by that.
Another listener writes interesting. He says, "Why would anyone trust Venezuela's vice president? She is another Maduro and just as corrupt. Dumb move by Trump."
Well, I don't think he trusts her. I think he's going to work with her.
He's going to use her.
He doesn't want the whole government to fall apart. And
Right.
he thinks that's the only way to maintain some sort of structure so the country doesn't turn into violence, which he doesn't. Nobody wants that. And so I think that's his path.
I agree. I think it's the best move he can make.
I think so.
And I know in Iraq, and I've read this later, that when we took out the Iraq regime, there was a lot of leaders in the military leaders that said, we'll help you run the thing. And they said, no, we don't need you. and they became part of the underground instead of part of the.
Right.
And they knew where all everything was. They knew how to run it.
Mhm.
Obviously, they ran it for the dictator. They could have run it for us. And even if we're just using them or them using us, whatever it is, it would have probably made Iraq run a lot smoother
Mhm.
as it did.
Yeah.
So I don't think Trump is done by that.
No, I think he's chosen a step-by-step transition of the government because obviously the drug cartels are the ones that have been really running the country down there. But can he push them across the border?
Don't know.
Into Colombia, and then it's stepwise. Take a step forward each couple of months to get to free elections.
Colombia is interesting, and I didn't. I mean, we all know they're a player. They make the cocaine, and Venezuela was transporting it and all that stuff. And the Colombian president was no different than Maduro as far as his rhetoric towards Trump. Like, come get me if you think you're so tough and all that.
Yeah.
Right after Venezuela, like within 24 hours, he gave up.
Yeah.
I'm ready to talk, ready to cooperate.
Yeah. And he's going to be meeting in the White House.
That's right.
Yeah. Amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's just amazing. It's just like
the Venezuela thing had more gravitas than I would imagine. I mean, even with Putin, they say.
Yeah.
That it put generals now that are pushing back against Putin, which doesn't happen in a country like that.
Right. Not for long.
Generals are saying they've already lost, is what I understand. There's not all of them, but I mean, there's some generals that have started to come forward and say we've already lost it.
Yeah.
Because they don't have the equipment, they don't have the strategies, they don't have the intel, and they're running out of oil.
Yeah.
They've got a lot of things going on, but listening to Putin, he's been winning this war since day one. And
well,
it's not changed.
That's what he's putting out on the TV and stuff to everybody. But I think, the Russian population now is like, well, we're losing sons, we're losing daughters,
but they're hesitant to say anything because you can't protest in that country. You can't speak against the president of that country. I mean, Mark Kelly thinks he can speak against the president. Even he can't in certain areas because he's a uniformed officer or a retired uniformed officer. But these people really can't, even if they're a civilian. So the 3-day exercise, military exercise, turned into a 4-year death, war that just has been horrendous and evil, terrible for both sides. But it's all on Ukraine property or mostly now, but not, Russia's getting your fill of bombs now.
Yeah. Well, and one of the other things we didn't really hit when we were talking about Venezuela and Iran and the things is that so Iran and Venezuela had Russian and Chinese equipment, right?
Yeah.
It didn't work. It didn't work against our military. They didn't see it coming. They couldn't mount any type of thing. So anybody that's buying Russian or Chinese equipment, you need to understand that it doesn't work.
Well, that's going to hurt them a lot too, because that's a big income. I don't know about China, but it's a big income for Russia apparently.
Yeah.
Was selling equipment all over the world, tanks and anti-aircraft equipment, and, all that kind of stuff. Although they do make a good gun, AK-47.
Yeah.
And there's more of those on the planet than any other single.
There is. They had a good, I guess, a good design on that, both the Russian and
Kalashnikov or something.
Yeah, Kalashnikov. Yeah, but so they did have a good design on that. I will give them that.
Yeah, they haven't done much sense. We'll be right back. AM 560.
At Hospice of Yuma, we believe that everyone deserves compassionate care, especially when it matters most. As the area's only nonprofit hospice, our mission is simple: to provide high-quality, compassionate care to all who need it, regardless of their ability to pay. Our team of skilled professionals and dedicated volunteers work tirelessly to ensure that your loved ones receive the care and support they deserve. We focus on comfort and dignity, helping families navigate this difficult time with grace and understanding. Choose Hospice of Yuma for quality care that puts you and your family first. For more information, please contact us at 928-343-2222.
In a world where Wi-Fi battles rage and bandwidth is never enough, one family dares to connect it all. Work from home, influence all day, stream all night, and game to win. Deadlines, downloads, and dance-offs, all happening under one roof, flawlessly. Can your internet provider do that? Fiber fuel your household at allofiber.com/all-in.
Oh, Hello, it's me, the calculator that lives inside of TaxSlayer. And let me tell you, I love numbers. 1040s, 1099s, W-2s, all of them. With TaxSlayer, anyone can file a federal return for just $22.99. You'll get 100% accuracy and your biggest possible refund guaranteed. Now those are great numbers. Need help along the way? We've got US-based real human support. File by February 8th for just $22.99 and get the refund you deserve. TaxSlayer, file fearlessly.
The Desert Lily Annual Quilt Show is coming Friday and Saturday, January 9th and 10th at the Yuma Civic Center with hundreds of beautiful quilts and wearable art items on display. See the special quilt celebrating America's 250th birthday. There'll be items for sale at the country stores and a fat quarter basket drawing. Admission is just $8. Buy tickets for your chance at winning the Love in a Mist quilt. Proceeds to benefit the Hanson House. The Desert Lily Annual Quilt Show, January 9th and 10th at the Yuma Civic Center. Don't miss it.
There's a man in D.C. He stands 6'3". He's fighting for you. He's fighting for me. He'll bring that on, just like he said. He'll make America great again. So get on that train.
Hey, 60 KPLU, Russ Clark with you. Greg Wilkins with
Yeah, morning.
Edward's witness morning.
Yeah, well, he's a very knowledgeable guy, very knowledgeable. Yeah, I always listen to what he says.
You have to.
Yes.
After World War II, the Allies kept many local Nazi officials in place to maintain order. I didn't know that, but it does make sense.
Yeah, it does.
It does. And the Japan same thing.
Japan, yeah.
They did not, take their, is it a prince, emperor, or whatever? They left that intact.
Yeah.
So they could rebuild. And it worked out okay in Japan. They're still a friend.
Yeah.
They haven't attacked it since.
Nope. They are good partner.
Now, there is also fraud showing up in red states. True.
Mm-hmm.
And many Republicans may want this to go forward. I don't know what you mean by go forward. The distractions. Yeah, not investigate. I don't know. So there's also, he said the Democrats do not want the government to fail. They want the current system to fail so they can transform it into their democratic socialist system. I agree with all that.
Yeah, that's probably right.
Yeah, that's why you flood it with illegals and you make the system break the system, but you don't fail the government.
Yeah, well, and that's why watching what happens in New York, it's going to be. What
do you think the outcome's going to be?
Well, on that scale, on a small scale, can he make? I've heard the governor's going to give him some of these things that he wants.
Free transportation.
I haven't heard the whole story.
Yeah.
I just started hearing some of the things, but so it's going to be interesting to see what really happens in New York.
Well,
what the occupancy rate goes to, and are these billionaires? To me, if I was a billionaire, I'd get out of that.
If I was a billionaire, I'd be a lot of things different.
Yeah, get out of that state so you don't lose all those taxes. But
so
where
would you move? California?
Well, Florida, California, Texas. Florida and Texas don't have income taxes.
Yeah,
so that would be number one. Target.
California is already chasing their billionaires out. They made that new rule where they're going to take 5% of every billionaire's wealth.
Yeah. So
retroactive to January 1 of this year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They're
well, I don't know if that stuff passed legal muster. I don't know.
But it'll be interesting to see what happens in New York, because Trump obviously loves the city. And now it's gone from the height of Giuliani when everything, when crime was down and all these things were going on to where we're at now with
the
last couple of mayors.
And I started going to New York in the 70s when I was a teenager. We'd take field trips there, even because I was in Delaware. And it was dangerous. I mean, there was bad things going on. So we'd just hang around certain areas and not go into the city in certain areas.
Yeah.
And then I went there in my college years, with groups of people, and then we go down 42nd Street and Times Square and all that, where it's a little more dangerous. But I felt safe in the crowds. We never took subways. And then I went there during Giuliani and all that stuff, or afterwards. I felt comfortable riding subways, going anywhere I could.
Yeah.
It was comfortable.
Yeah, I think I've been there three times, I think.
Yeah. But it's I wouldn't go right now. I wouldn't enjoy it, I don't think. I wouldn't want to go.
Yeah.
But when I was on the hospital board, we used to have seminars. They would offer the seminar in New York City. I'd always pick New York City.
Yeah.
I try to go every year, and especially during the November time, Chris getting ready for Christmas, fun place to be.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd have fun now.
Don't think so.
Yeah. You had the what was it, the Naked Cowboy? Remember him?
Yeah. Yeah, I do.
I don't think we have him anymore. I don't know if he's still there or not. I have no idea. But he wasn't naked, but that was his title. He just had a pair of shorts on that looked like he was wearing underwear or something.
Yeah.
And singing.
Yeah. So with Mondami, I don't know what's going to happen in New York. I think he obviously the way he carried his message was obviously really good, and I think he is a result of our failed public education system.
But he's a rich guy. But they grew up with means. He grew up.
Well, yeah.
So he's not really in our.
He's a rich guy who lived in a subsidized apartment.
Yeah, was he?
Yeah.
Oh man.
So, but so I don't know. I think the result of him being in there is a failure of our public education system.
You mean we didn't educate the voters?
That they don't understand what socialism.
He wasn't educated.
No. That people don't understand what socialism is or what communism is, and now they're going to experience it.
Well, see, Venezuela made the mistake. They were very wealthy. They were like per capita one of the wealthiest countries in South America, if not the wealthiest.
Cuba
made the mistake. They were vibrant.
Right.
And they said, it'd be so much better if we give it to the people.
Yeah.
Venezuela will give it to the people. But that's not the way it works out.
No.
And people lose everything.
And that's not what's going to happen in New York. I mean, you already had I don't know what she was, housing or whatever, came out and said, we're going to reimagine property.
Right.
Especially for white property owners.
Yeah, they don't need to own property. The whites.
Yeah, it's going to be now owned by the collective, which is the exact same word that they used in Russia for the farmers, that they were on collective farm. And what happened there is that each person was given a little piece of property, and that produced all kinds of vegetables and stuff, so much per acre. But then the collective farmland was produced almost nothing. And so the population began to starve.
Yeah.
And that's why they have the food lines, because they
killed the farmers, I understand.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they could take the farms.
Yep. So this little piece of property that was owned by the farmer produced, but the bulk of the property that was produced for the population produced almost nothing.
Yeah.
And my sister and brother-in-law, who were in ag, actually went to Russia, and they could not believe how bad it was. It was just, it was unbelievably bad.
Didn't Manami say something about I'd rather be in the warm collective or something? Warm collective. Yeah. I think it'd be cold. I don't know if the power would be on. We'll be back. AM 560 KBOU.
Look for a high this afternoon of 62. Won't feel like it with winds out of the north at 20 to 30 miles per hour today. 45 and clear tonight. Sunny at 66 on Saturday, 10 to 15 mile per hour winds. Clear at 49 on Saturday night. Sunny and windy on Sunday with a high of 73.
The Desert Lily Annual Quilt Show is coming Friday and Saturday, January 9th and 10th at the Yuma Civic Center with hundreds of beautiful quilts and wearable art items on display. See the special quilt celebrating America's 250th birthday. There'll be items for sale at the country stores and the Fat Quarter Basket Drawing. Admission is just $8. Buy tickets for your chance at winning the Love in a Mist quilt. Proceeds to benefit the Hanson House. The Desert Lily Annual Quilt Show, January 9th and 10th at the Yuma Civic Center. Don't miss it.
The new year means new resolutions, not just for your body, but for your finances as well. Did you know that financial health is directly related to your identity protection? This is why you need LifeLock. LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points per second. If your identity is stolen, LifeLock's restoration specialist will fix it, guaranteed, or your subscription money back. Resolve to make your identity, health, and wealth part of your New Year's goals with LifeLock. Visit lifelock.com and save up to 40% off your first year with the promo code BECK. Terms apply.
To be a part of Russ's show, call 928-344-5258. That's 928-344-5258.
What's up, Yuma, and hello, Russ Clark Show listeners. Johnny Porter here, and I just made the switch to Allo Fiber, and it's a game changer. Lightning fast speeds for streaming, working from home, and gaming. No buffering or slowed down speeds. It's time to ditch the glitch and switch to Allo Fiber.
There's a man in D.C. He stands 6'3". He's fighting for you. He's fighting for me. He'll bring that one, just like he said. He'll make America great again. So get on.
Yeah, but give you you Park with you. It's Friday, 7. It's almost 8 o'clock. Greg's no off today. You got tournament tomorrow. Somebody wrote me a listener that the subway was free in the I've ridden in the New York subway before. It wasn't free when I was there. No, it's been a while. But so I checked in with AI real quick. Said, what's the charge? And he said, and Donnie's going to put in $3 per ride. And that's what the AI said. The fare is now $3 per ride. Now, meaning it makes me think it's different.
Well, that was one of the things he ran on, though. That was going to be free.
Yeah.
The buses, though, are controlled by the governor. That's
Right.
State transportation. Yeah.
Following a recent fare increase with options like unlimited Metro cards and reduced fares for eligible ride. $3 a ride doesn't sound bad.
Mm-mm.
I don't know.
Not when you can go long distances, and cab, Uber would be much more.
So I want to cover Greenland real quick. We got a few minutes.
Okay.
You think Greenland's a good idea?
I do.
I mean, I thought it was a joke when Trump first mentioned he wanted to buy Greenland.
Well, Greenland, the big important was Greenland started underneath FDR. FDR was the first one that was a big push to that Greenland was needed for the security of the country. So
yeah,
it's not new. It's just Trump can get stuff done.
The president of Greenland, George Greenland population is smaller than the population of Yuma City.
Yeah,
I think they got like 80,000 or something like that. Let me see. Greenland's Prime Minister Nielsen, he wrote on Facebook, Greenland will remain part of Denmark despite U.S. efforts. Our country isn't something you can deny or take over because you want to. Once again, I urge the United States to seek respectful dialogue through the correct diplomatic and political channels and utilizing pre-existing forums that are based on an agreement already in place with the United States. The dialogue must take place with respect to the fact that Greenland's status is rooted in international law and the principle of territorial integrity. And he's answering some stuff that Trump's putting out on Facebook that, yeah, we're going to take it. I guess he's going around the diplomatic. There's population is roughly 57,000 people. That's it.
But I think this is one of those things where Trump is kind of going way out here, but he really wants here.
I think so.
And so
I think in order to get him off of buying Greenland, they're going to give some concessions on opportunities to develop, opportunities to mine, opportunities to build defense systems, those kinds of things.
Yeah,
but
because now Denmark has admitted that they've ignored the protection of Greenland and all that kind of stuff. So I believe Denmark and Greenland are going to come to the table. Now Greenland may split from Denmark, but I think they're going to come to the table.
But they're going to need protection. We've got Russia, China fighting for everything out there.
Yeah,
and they're in trouble. Trump recently considered paying each Greenland resident, like every man, woman, and child,
right,
up to $100,000.
Yeah,
I think it'd be a cheap way to buy it.
Well, it wouldn't be the first time that we bought something. I mean,
No,
the
no.
Louisiana Purchase, I think, is the biggest one.
Well, we bought the Virgin Islands from Denmark.
Yeah.
You know, we bought Alaska from Russia. Louisiana Purchase, you're right.
Yeah.
Was that
3 cents an acre?
Was that France?
15 million. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in history, if you go back and read, not everyone thought any one of those purchases was a good idea. There were people out there that thought, it was a folly. I think called Stewart's folly.
Yeah.
Was that Louisiana Purchase was Stewart's folly? Or was that Russia?
Was
that Alaska?
Well, Louisiana Purchase started with the U.S. just wanted to buy the port in New Orleans, and they were going to buy the port for 10 million, and then France said, "Well, we'll sell the whole thing for 15," and so they did it without formal approval.
Yeah.
They kind of signed that agreement. Of course, it ended up panning out, but it turns out it's like 3 cents an acre is what they ended up paying.
But
for
it was uproars about Alaska, what a waste of money. There was uproars about all of it. And there's uproars about Greenland, particularly from the left.
Oh, of course,
because Trump is saying it. So it's going to take. But I agree with you. I've thought that the art of the deal. Ask for the outrageous, I want to buy it and all that, and then they feel relieved when he only wants to make business arrangements and have defense packs.
Defense compact.
Yeah.
And I think that's where he's going.
But it's hard to figure him out every time.
Would he? Do I believe he would buy it? I believe. He'd buy it. But
in fact, he'd probably be shocked as anybody.
Yeah, I think he wants that defense compact so we can protect. And really, it's really protect Europe too, because Greenland is situated way up there, and there's all kinds of Chinese and Russian ships and stuff.
Now there are.
Yeah,
China just started recently occupying the Arctic. I mean, it wasn't their normal.
Right.
Russia was.
Yeah.
And we're having icebreakers made right now. We're having a few of them. We only have 2 in the inventory. I mean,
10 or 12 or something like that. Yeah.
Well, I think it's only right now 6. They're going to build 4 of them. I think Sweden was it Sweden they're building them?
Something. Yeah. They have an agreement
because we don't know how to build them as well. So they're going to train us and build them, and we're going to build 4, and they're going to build 2 or something, something like that. But Russia's got lots of them. China's got 20 now icebreakers up there. So we need to get with the program if we're going to use it. But if we owned Greenland or had to deal with Greenland, it'd be a big deal.
Yeah.
For defense, for minerals,
and we do have a base there now, but it's not big enough.
My dad was stationed there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Air Force Base. He had to go there for a year.
Wow.
He tells me it was cold.
Yeah.
That's what he tells me. I'm going to take his word for it. Never been there. Yeah, we do have military base. I don't think it's very big.
No, I think it's a radar and stuff like that.
So possibly.
Yeah.
I don't know the planes out of there, but yeah. We had to go live in Illinois because my dad was out for a year, and we always considered Illinois more like home, even though we lived there very briefly. We didn't live there much because that's where my grandparents lived.
Oh, okay.
A little town in New Orleans out in the middle of a cornfield somewhere.
Yeah, a little unaccompanied tour in Greenland, huh?
Yeah. I think he was happy to get home.
I'm sure.
Just real quick, the NASA administrator orders the return of the Crew 11.
Yeah.
Somebody got there's a medical problem. They don't say what it is.
Yeah. But obviously it's requiring surgery that they can't do up there.
Yeah. I mean, I would attempt it. No.
Yeah.
We're not.
How would you even hold the blood down and all that stuff in that? Put them in some sort of container.
I don't know what they do. I'm sure they thought about it.
Yeah.
But they're going to bring the crew home. But the next crew was already ready to take off anyway in February. That's crew number 12.
Yeah. It'd be
And so
they move
when I
them
first
up.
read this, I thought, well, does that mean Evelyn's going to have to go rescue? But apparently not. They've already got it scrapped up there.
Yeah.
It's already docked up there. I mean, it stays docked. It doesn't.
Right.
So they're just going to jump in the bus and come on home.
Yeah.
And bring it home. And I guess it's going to be unoccupied. Is it going to be unoccupied? Doesn't really say. I mean, I don't know if that's everybody that's on the station. Because
That was I was curious that if it was going to be unoccupied for like a month or something like that.
maybe Hal can run it.
Yeah, there you go.
I don't know if you know who Hal is from Space
Yes.
Odyssey
Oh, yeah.
2000.
2001. Yeah. Yeah.
The but mid-February, the next crew is going to launch, get up there. We hope they're all okay. But they felt like it was urgent enough to bring them home. They kind of got everything done anyway. So maybe it's a break for them. They get to come home early. That's good.
Yeah.
Yep. Come home early. Well, I appreciate you coming in. We ran out of time.
Good time.
Hope there's a lot going on.
Oh, every day there's something new.
I think we covered near none of it, but there's a lot going on. So there's a lot to discuss.
Yeah.
I'll be back Monday. I think I'll take the weekend off.
Oh,
Why
that
don't you
sounds
just
good.
play golf while you're
Yeah,
doing
I think I'll do that.
it? AM 560 KBLU.
There's a man in D.C. He stands 6'3". He's fighting for you. He's fighting for me. He'll drink that old song, just like he said. He'll make America.
This is News Talk 560 KBLU. You